Hey, I'm Alan Knowles from CT Racing. I'm out here for UTV On Demand. Gonna go over this RZR Turbo 4 we've built for adventure off-road stuff. When my wife and I run a RZR, you've probably seen some of the other tests we've done. We are really big in the adventure stuff. We get in the car, we go, cover a lot of distances. We just like that style of running. We're not racing the car or anything else, but we do like them to handle. We do like them to run. We run them hard, so we expect a lot out of the cars. And that's why we do all kinds of good stuff to keep us comfortable in the car and make sure the car handles really well. So that covers shocks and seats and all kinds of stuff we do to the car. So I'm gonna give you a rundown on it. And the stuff we do on this car, you may want to emulate, at least some of it. A lot of it just makes sense. You know, safety first. We have a lot of safety stuff in the car because when we roll, we're going at a high clip. You know, 70 miles an hour down a road we've never been down on a graded road. Throwing around corners is not unheard of for us. So it's just part of the deal and what we like to do. So I'm gonna start off with the first things first on a car. You want to get a cage on there. You got to have a good cage. Keeps you safe. Costs you a couple $1,000. Keeps you out of the hospital. We've gone with Pro Armour a couple times. This is a Pro Armour cage, the Asylum cage. Came with a roof. You could get it with or without, but you got to have a roof. And this roof, it looks nice. It bolts on nice. They've got a good product. We modified the back of the roof for RZR's Chase light. It's a really neat light. It's a 20-inch light. It has 3 different lights in that you control from the cockpit. It's got brake lights on the outside. It's got ambers. I'm a big fan of running an amber light. Safety-wise, your friends can see you from behind. So we run the ambers all the time, day, night. You can see amber through the dust. And then it's got a white light you can use for backup, or you can use for, you know, if you need to get into the back of the car and see what's up. So we have that. We kind of cut that slot into the back of their roof. It's really a clean installation, and you can emulate that yourself. Piece of cake. Anybody can do that with a jigsaw. So while we're installing the RZR stuff, all LEDs, don't draw a lot of juice. You'll have no problem sucking down the battery or anything. We went with a 40-inch Dominator light bar. It's a really good light bar. You can find cheap light bars. I've said this before. You can go on eBay or Amazon and buy some $100 that'll last you about 9 minutes. We've seen all kinds of issues with them. So while we're on the RZR stuff, we also went with a 12-inch front. We mount a front on the bumper and we aim it down, so when you go off stuff you can see down, because the big light lights up the world ahead of you, but when you go to roll off an edge you want to see that. And then we also have some pod lights. They call them rock lights from RZR. They're pretty cool because they light up when you're driving over rocks and stuff at night. You can look down and see your wheel placement. So it's just kind of a neat deal, and then it gives you the disco look because you got some color under the car. Continuing on with Pro Armour, we've got their stealth doors in the car. The stealth doors are a door skin. They go right over your stock doors. You got your stock latches and everything. It's a clean setup. Look that up. I mean, you can replace with a full set of doors, but this stealth stuff is nice. We like it. We also use the Pro Armour suspension seats. It's the G2 mud seats. The mud seats are nice because you can pop the center out of it and rinse it out real well, and they do come out of the car easy. So that's what it's got, and they're just really a comfortable seat. The stock seats in the Polarises, they're horrible. Get those things out, get some Pro Armours in your car. We also went with their Race Series front bumper. They offer several different. You can look at their line of stuff, but we go with the race one. It's just a minimalist bumper with a skid on it. They have some bigger stuff if you like that look. And of course the rear of the car is protected by their cage, so that goes all the way around. We use their steering wheel and steering wheel adapter. We run the 3-inch harnesses, and we use the 4-point, we use the 5-point. We don't need one through the crotch because you just don't need that in a recreation car. So we use the 4-point harnesses everywhere. I like the Pro Armours because they're kind of stitched together, just one latch. A lot of the brands, you have to fish them all together and string them. It's kind of a pain. So I really like the Pro Armours. Look at those if you're buying some seat harnesses, and that's the first thing to get in a car. You got to get harnesses so it's safe. We use Tech products on this car. We've used them in the past, had extremely good luck with them. He builds a quality product. It's strong and it fits right. A lot of the competition for A-arms and radius rods use mild steel, and they gusset it up. It looks all pretty, but I straighten it out, you'll straighten it out. You'll be calling Ed and pissed off that you bought some stuff that just isn't a quality product. You can't go wrong. Look at the Texera line of stuff. They also, it's an upper and lower A-arm. The lower is most important, but he also builds a heavy-duty upper to hold the shock, and then the radius rod in the back. You can buy just the lower for the ground clearance, but he also builds a heavy-duty upper, so you got a full set. So you can break it up any way you want. You can buy just lowers, but you definitely want his lowers, but just buy his whole set. It's really high-quality stuff. Important part of A-arms, trailing arms, is what you use for ball joint stuff like that. He doesn't use any of that Chinese junk. We're back to Italian frap ball joints. stuff like that. So it's a quality product. This turbo carb, we went with an Empire exhaust. Most of the time I don't like exhaust in the cars because they're too dang noisy for the adventure stuff. This Empire exhaust is quiet. It's the same dB as stock, performs better. This thing may not be legal in California, but I don't think anything is. I don't think it's even legal to be in California anymore. So if you live anywhere else, or you live in California and want to be an outlaw, look at the Empire exhaust. Again, it's the quietest I've heard, performs extremely well, robust. It's just a slip-on, you don't need a head pipe. It's a good setup. We put that on, you can run it just stock, but we want a little more power. So we want the DynoJet C-Vision X. It's a reflash of your stock ECU. It's a pretty cool setup. You do it yourself, you can just buy it. It costs about the same as sending your ECU out to have it reflash, but it's got several choices. If you have just a completely stock car, you can send a flash for that, which it controls a lot of things. It gets rid of the 2-foot braking, you can do that. It overrides that. It controls the fan much better. It controls a lot of parameters. It gives it more fuel, more boost, so it runs cooler. That more fuel is why you can't use it in California, but that's why you want your car. It cools the car off. So that's something to look at. We use that. You can immediately tell the difference in power. It's about 400 bucks. So grab one of those, plug it into your car. They make it for just about all the UTVs in the market. We've been real happy with that product. I've got the SMV Particle Separator on this car. You'll see it in the videos and have a look at it. Go to their website, check out what it does. It's a phenomenal piece of equipment. It's probably going to put me out of the rebuilding business because it's so good. It's a pre-filter. You still use your whole filter system. They claim 92% of the dirt it stops from getting to your filter, and that might be a little bit high. Let's just call it 80%, 50%. It makes it worthwhile. You've got to get one. All it does, it's a simple system. It just blows the heavy dirt particles right at the bottom, and the clean air goes off the side down to your filter, and you'll see significantly less dirt getting your filter, and it'll save you some money, but it really saves you money on motor rebuild. If you use that thing and you service your car regularly, it'll stretch out. Now you got a 6,000 mile car, no problem, instead of a 2,000 mile junker. This car's got the walker links, the sway bar links. It's a new product for me to test. I didn't know what they do, and what I found is it's pretty simple. It's like a shock that connects the trailing arm to the sway bar, and it just takes the sting out of, especially on roads that are graded where they have little stutter bumps. It just softens that up so the car gets even plusher ride. So it's a nice setup. You don't notice it stays flat in the corners, but it does help smooth out the little choppy bumps and give you a nice ride so you're not beating yourself up all day. This car has got the Walker VS 2.5 shocks. It's a phenomenal shock. It's the best shock that I've tested in the car. I've tried a lot of stuff. I've tried revalves. It does everything I want. I haven't even found the limits of this thing, and I've driven a lot. I can pound the whoops. It doesn't do a huck-a-buck. It tracks straight through the whoops. As fast as the car can go. Most of the time I'm just flat-footed through whoops, and it just skips them. Otherwise, I just go around the whoops. But with these things, I look forward to pounding out some whoops. And the car's stable in the corners. That's important. It's a plush ride. I tested it back-to-back against the new Dynamics car. This car is so much plusher in every situation I've come up with, really better than the Dynamics car, being plush and being able to jump it off a bridge and land it and have a nice soft landing. It's a little pricey, but it's nice stuff. If you're wanting to keep your car and you don't want to spend the money on the new car, get a set of these VS 2.5s. They are unbelievable. On this car, I went with the GBC 32-inch mongrels. In the past, I've always used 30s. I like the 30s a lot, but I just want a little more ground clearance and a little more rollout for this big four-door. So we went 32s. It would theoretically raise the car up an inch. I lowered it back down. It's about a ½ inch taller than I normally would run a car, but that little bit helps in the middle of the car. So we went with those. We clamped them on a set of DWT Starfighter beadlock wheels. I'm a big fan of beadlock wheels on an adventure car, so we've got those on here. They're a good-looking wheel. They're quite cost-effective. And we run 5, so just buy yourself 5 of them, and that way you got a good spare. We run the same size all the way around. You're set. Look at that setup, 32-inch. We do have a tire carrier in the back of this car from CT Racing. It's a flip-up tire carrier, so you bolt it down. It's as low as I can get it. Still gives you plenty of room underneath to put all your ice chest and tool bag and whatever you want to bring for spares, and then it really secures it well because nothing's coming out around that spare tire when it's like that. So give us a shot at CT Racing. We'll get you dialed in with a tire carrier. We've got a rugged radio in this car. I use their 60-watt output radio. Gives you a really wide range. You can, in good situations, it'll broadcast 20 miles, so that's from car to car, so you can talk to your buddies. And then we also have a 660 intercom unit in the car. 660 is pretty good in that you can talk to the people in the car, and it's voice activated. and then you got to push a button to talk to the other cars. So you can chat, and it's a fourth place, so anybody in the car has a headset on can be in the conversation and know what's up. And having a radio really makes the drives good. Communicate with the other cars, that way they can stay out of the dust zone, they can hang back, tell them where there's a turn. We do what we call stop turns. If I'm going to huck a turn where you wouldn't see where I went, normally if it's right at the Y, you just yell right at the Y and everybody knows to do that. But sometimes I'm going to be gone, huck a turn in the middle of a straightaway somewhere. We do a stop. I stop as soon as I see them, take off, then they come and do the same thing, they stop. So organize your group that way, but you got to have comm to do that, and it really makes the day go faster and keeps everybody out of the dust, everybody's happy. So look at the rugged radio setup. It's got a whole unit that bolts onto the RZR. It's got the right brackets, they make it for all the cars. RuggedRadios.com. I built a lot of cars. This is the favorite car I've ever done. I'm going to hate to part with it. I end up having to move on and build new cars and keep it rolling. The car's plush, it handles amazingly well. We drove a couple cars this past weekend, and then at the end of the weekend I got back in this for a few minutes, and it's like a comfortable glove. You just get in, you fit nice. It takes all this thing out of the hits compared to some of the stuff I was running over the weekend. It's just a really good build. We've beat the crap out of this car, testing it, running it, having some weekends with it. So all this product just really works well. So that's why I keep saying it's a good guideline to go off of. You just can't go wrong emulating a build like this. The stuff's right. You don't have to waste a bunch of money buying stuff, learning the hard way. It's so disappointing to spend a bunch of money on a product and then you get it and you put it on, it either doesn't fit or it doesn't last and it's all wadded up. There's nothing on this car that's going to be like that. We've been through these things. We've done a bunch of them. If you've seen some of my builds, you'll see some of the same repeats on my part. When I have successful use out of a product and like it, I just go back to it, and that's what you're going to see on this car. And keep that in mind for yourself. Don't be looking at that cheap flea-based stuff. The reason we do all these is so I can make some big fat checks. UTV On Demand's always sending me these big fat checks worth about that much. Anyhow, we do it for fun. Hey, if you like this video, we really need you to like it. It helps us, helps you. We keep doing it, do that. If you like all the stuff we've been doing, subscribe. It's right here. Don't be afraid. Push the buttons. It's easy. Just push it. If you want to see more videos we've done, there you go. You push this button right here, you're in. You're going to get more content. Thanks for joining us. Alan Knowles, out.